Trump is being protested all over the world. MAGA in Europe means Make America Go Away. Europe is also wondering, where are all the adults in the USA? And this sign, it's my favorite.
All over the world, they are talking about how awful he is. They are talking about the atrocities. They are talking about the ruined relationships, the ruined trade. This will take us decades, if ever, to recover from. And it's only been 1 year. Where do you live and what are you hearing about the USA?
We are witnessing the descent of the United States into fascism. A president who rejects election results, incites insurrection, attacks the judiciary and the media, has an armed militia intimidating minorities, who kidnaps foreign leaders and threatens the sovereignty of others. If Trump smells weakness from the EU, it's because when the US or Israel break international law, we look the other.
I think we should bring back being rude to tourists. I was in Rome and I was standing in a sandwich shop and watched like 6 different people come in who were all American. Some of them were there abroad, mind you, so living there for an extended period of time, couldn't be bothered to say a single word in Italian. Oh, hi, do you have shaved turkey? Nothing, not a single word. We're traveling to a country, the bare minimum is you should be able to say hello, goodbye, thank you, maybe I would like, so you can order, just if you're feeling crazy. You shouldn't have to be polite to those people. This is the hill I'm gonna die on.
If you want to know how I explain what MAGA is to my friends in Europe, I usually say it's a disease that you cannot cure with knowledge and evidence.
No, you're not free to go at the moment.
Okay, well, what's the reason?
Well, we're still investigating what's gone on here. Something's happened. There's an allegation of crime, and we need to work out what's going on.
Okay, do you have a description of those people?
We do, yeah.
Okay, do either one of us fit description? One of us?
At the moment, yes.
Okay, so which one needs to go then?
You both need to stay.
Come on, there's a black guy and a white guy here. One of us fit the description.
No, you both need to stay.
What's it on what grounds?
On what grounds? Is because we don't know what's going on at the moment.
You need to find out because we need to go.
That's what we're doing, sir.
All right.
Sir, I promise you we won't keep you here any longer than we need to.
No, it's the fact that they don't want to let him use his phone and use the bathroom. This is the only reason why I put my camera out.
Well, I've got my camera on as well.
It doesn't matter about your cameras. My camera is more important than yours. All right. So are we being? I'm ready to leave now.
No, you're not going anywhere.
Okay, and are you going to stop me from leaving?
Yes, I will.
On what grounds?
Well, on the grounds that I suspect you might be involved in a criminal matter.
Okay, on a criminal matter, and this gentleman also.
Same, yeah.
Okay, what's your name?
It's Sergeant Hall.
And what's your name?
Are absolutely hating Americans right now. More specifically, they're hating who's in charge, but there is a trickle-down effect to those who voted for Trump. There are so many people in this country that don't realize we are not viewed favorably. We are not the golden children that you think that we are. The rest of the world is moving on without us. The rest of the world is finding other allies and finding other resources. Many of you keep doubling and tripling down on what the Trump administration is currently doing, but there are many of us that can see clearly that we are losing our allies right and left. Have you had a conversation with a Canadian lately? I understand that many of you voted for this, and this is exactly what you want. But there are plenty of us that are not okay with the way things are going right now. And we understand why the rest of the world is fed up with us.
Those boos were really loud. Canada is certainly unhappy with the United States. I want to remind all the MAGA lunatics out there who praise Donald Trump's every move that this trade war with Canada and Mexico helps nobody. It changes nothing for the better. This trade war angers two of our closest allies. It makes products in the United States significantly more expensive, and it makes it more difficult for businesses in the United States to do business with Canada or Mexico. So congratulations to MAGA. The United States is getting a lot worse really, really quickly.
Hi guys, welcome back once again. I really hope you're doing fine wherever you are. I just want you to continue watching this clip whereby MAGA Americans are being chased and kicked out of Europe. Europeans are really coming out and telling them that if you believe America is the greatest country in the world, why can't you use your money, or why can't you spend your own money while you are in your other country? We don't want you to come here and spread some form of hatred toward our people. Just please go back to your own country. Go back to America. So guys, let's continue watching this clip to the end, and I'll be back with more comments.
So I saw this photo in a post just a little while ago. And from a factual standpoint, this is very much incorrect. If you're traveling to Europe and you own a MAGA hat and you want to wear it in public, you're definitely able to do so. You're going to get some looks, but from a legal standpoint, you're perfectly fine because MAGA hasn't been determined to be a terrorist or hate organization, even though there's evidence to the contrary. See January 6th and everything Donald Trump has ever said or done. But that having been said, I personally feel that anyone that has ever owned a MAGA hat or has been given one or purchased one and worn one in public should be forced to wear that fucking hat for the rest of their goddamn life. Because when MAGA dies, and it will, they should not be able to blend in with the rest of us. They should not be able to stand up and say that I never believed that women shouldn't have bodily autonomy. I never said that the Muslim religion was incompatible with American society. I was never okay with people being forcibly removed from the United States without due process. I never thought that it was okay for the Secretary of Defense to send fucking war plans in a goddamn signal chat. I believe in taking an approach of Aldo the Apache in Inglourious Bastards. You want to take off that uniform? That's fine. I'm going to give you a little something you can't take off. So it should be with the fucking MAGA hats. Because them motherfuckers need to be identifiable in public forever. If you're going to put it on, keep it on. Then we'll let history decide.
Trump is being protested all over the world. MAGA in Europe means make America go away. Europe is also wondering, where are all the adults in the USA? And this sign, it's my favorite. It's fucking brilliant. The USA already has too much ice. Those are some of my favorite signs from a massive protest that took place at the US Embassy in Copenhagen, Denmark over the weekend, because Europe is fucking pissed. And today, Sunday, January 18th, the EU is meeting in an emergency capacity to try to figure out how they are going to respond to Trump's latest tantrum, where he's threatening to impose tariffs if they don't give him Greenland. And watching the people protest in Denmark and in Minneapolis, I think the real lesson here is that winter people are not to be trifled with. And look, I'm a Midwesterner. I grew up near Chicago, et maintenant j'ai un pied à terre à Quebec, so j'aime l'hiver. I like winter, but I cannot winter like these people can winter. Look at the Danes and the Greenlanders looking downright cozy while they are protesting. They're not cold at all. And look at the Minnesotans. They are building protest sleds. They are out singing to ice. They are bundled up, and this cold is not deterring them at all. And it reminds me of something a friend of mine said years ago. It was brilliant, and I've never forgotten it. They said, there's no bad weather, there's only bad clothing. And I'm keeping that in mind because we're going to be protesting for the long haul, y'all, and we cannot wait for nice weather to do it. So gotta up the gear.
The reason that they're able to say that the Trump administration has ruled that CBP can deny entry to the United States to green card holders who are suspected of a crime is because technically they aren't being admitted. So let me explain to you what I mean. The Supreme Court basically said it is lawful for CBP to put somebody on immigration parole when they enter the United States based on suspicion of committing a crime. Now, they declined to hold CBP to a clear and convincing evidence standard in terms of they had to establish by clear and convincing evidence that the green card holder had committed a crime, and then they would be processed for a parole. In other words, not admitted as a green card holder, but paroled in pending removal proceedings to review whether or not they should continue being a permanent resident. And now they've lowered that threshold from clear and convincing to suspicion of committing a crime. Now, yes, that is a negative decision for green card holders, but I want to be clear that the effect of it is the same as it previously was. So previously, they also could deny that admission and just parole someone in. Again, the standard was higher. It had to be by clear and convincing evidence. But like before, green card holders who had committed a crime by clear and convincing evidence were then a lot paroled in and placed in removal proceedings. Same thing here. Green card holders now who have been suspected of a crime, which of course there's a lot of gray area there and there's a lot of potential for abuse, and that's a separate topic. But they've been suspected of a crime, are again going to be paroled in, not necessarily admitted as green card holders, and placed in removal proceedings. This does not mean they can just turn you away. They send you back. And that's how it's going to be spun, so I want to be clear.
Don't you just hate it when MAGA says this?
The world respects us right now more than they have ever respected us.
Well, you patriotic Trump supporters, Italy just denied our military aircraft from using their airbase. France won't allow some of our aircraft to fly over their country. Poland refused our request for a missile battery. And Spain refused to allow us to use their bases. That's not respect.
I want you to take note to the fact that America is literally collapsing. Like the world is watching us die. They're making fun of the fact that we had to stand in line for healthcare. Our food is poisoned. We're out here, burning stuff down. We're out here fighting each other. The racism, all of this stuff that's going on. And not one country is hanging an American flag to support us. To say, hey, go help Americans. Americans are dying in record numbers. Let's help them. Let's be on their side. Not one. You know why? Because it just proves that our government has been lying about what we have been doing when we go over to these countries. Because if we were the heroes that we claim to be, they would have protests everywhere. Help America, help Americans, help America. The only time they have done that, Black Lives Matter. They have said no to Trump, but no American flags are being hung. So, before you believe what this administration or any other news outlet says about any other country around the world, specifically black and brown, because that's the ones they love to dog out, please understand no one around the world is coming to save us because they actually don't like us. They don't. And I get it.
So, I just wanted to take a second here and bring attention to the girl that grabbed the pickpocket by the ponytail in Italy. I'm all for it. I myself attacked a pickpocketer in Italy and handed him over to the Italian police. If you're going to try to steal my stuff, you deserve to catch a beatdown. End of discussion. And as an American citizen, it does make my chest swell with a little bit of pride to know that there have been memos like the French Olympics put out to say, hey, don't target Americans because they fight back. And if everybody fought back, maybe there'd be less pickpockets. That's my hot take for today on travel.
Oh no, pearls will be clutch. This woman went into a jazz bar in Indianapolis called Chatterbox and claims that they refused her service simply for wearing a MAGA hat. And of course, she recorded a video of this and posted said video. So let's review that really quickly and I'll be right back.
Hey, I have a question.
No, we're not answering
Why?
questions. Get out of the bar.
Why?
Because you're a Trump supporter.
I know, but don't you guys want our money?
No, actually we don't. Get out of my bar right now. You're not welcome. I'm not fucking around. Get out of my bar.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Out.
Because I'm wearing a Trump hat.
Yes.
That's wild.
I don't care. Get out.
We can call the police, or you can just leave.
You know this is like discrimination, right?
Oh, boo-hoo! Boo fucking who? Get out of my bar.
Yeah, that video went a little viral this weekend. Right-wingers posting the shit out of that. And of course, she's having her little 15 minutes. She's doing interviews with the news, talking about this terrible experience that she had. Now, the news tried to talk to Chatterbox and get their side of things. They declined speaking to the news station, but they put up a statement on their Instagram for all to see. It says, on Friday, March 14th, a group of individuals visited Chatterbox and intentionally misgendered and harassed a Chatterbox employee, resulting in them being asked to leave by our staff. They then continued verbally assaulting our patrons and staff, threatened our establishment, and returned to record a video which has now been posted on multiple social media platforms. Well, now that paints a different picture than just simply wearing the hat being the reason. But the news did ask her about that, and this is what she said.
Hensley claims she did not misgender or harass anyone at the bar, and that she would have willingly taken off her hat if she was asked.
Oh, you would have taken it off willingly if they just asked nicely? You sure about that? But what we have here is a situation where there's two different stories. One is claiming that she came in, she harassed employees and misgendered an employee, and she's saying, nope, just came in wearing my hat. It's a she said situation. If only we had something we could look at that would maybe give us some insight into either party and whether or not they're trustworthy. Hey, let's really quickly listen to this one part of the news interview where she tells her side of how things went down.
The bar, before we could even get a word out or a drink, he just looked at me and he said, no. And I said, excuse me. He said, absolutely not. He said, your hat, you need to leave right now.
Well, that's interesting. They said you misgendered an employee. You said, no, that didn't happen, while literally misgendering an employee. So, I'm inclined to believe them. Like I said, that video went viral. Not only did the right share it all over the place, they started bombing that business with bad reviews and calling them and making threats. But guess what? Not just that business. No, several businesses called Chatterbox. There's a place in Knoxville, Tennessee called Chatterbox. It's veteran owned. They're very accepting of everyone. They've been getting hammered with negative reviews and threatening calls when they weren't even part of this. But honestly, this whole situation, this was just capitalism that conservatives seem to love. Any business has the right to refuse business to a person, especially someone who they're saying is harassing and misgendering their employees. In other words, being disrespectful. That's definitely grounds to refuse service. And she admits there is probably nothing wrong with them refusing her.
They probably have every right to kick me out. If you don't want me at your bar, that is what it is. But also, the man that was with me was an African-American male.
This is why the world is not like America, and by extension, Americans. I often see a lot of confused Americans wondering why people in other countries do not like them. But the answer is actually very simple. Most Americans do not know the true history of their country. And the US's reach is huge when it comes to destabilizing countries and destroying the environment. Overthrowing governments that are democratically elected, villainizing and sanctioning countries that fail to do what they want, sabotaging the progress of countries that are typically resource-rich, contributing to genocides in mass slaughter around the world by providing money and weapons to regimes that are known to commit human rights abuses. And if it's not destroying your country through these tangible and bureaucratic means, also just illegal, then they're destroying your country culturally. And what's crazy is the more that I learn about the histories of certain cultures in certain regions, the one thing that I'm noticing is that the U.S. always leaves a trail, whether it's a trail of blood, bodies, and just complete disaster. They completely rewrite history and peddle lies about their impact abroad, rather pushing this narrative to its citizens that it brings freedom and democracy to other countries when everyone else who's been impacted by this country knows that that's a lie. And Americans believe it. I grew up in the U.S. and was educated in the U.S. education system. And it was only until I went to university in the US that I actually learned the truth about what this country has done abroad. But to know the raw and true history of the US is a rarity amongst the American population. And when your country has had such disastrous effects globally, especially on the global majority, people are not going to like you if you state the antithesis and you state propaganda that literally goes against the realities that people are living still to this day.
You can't do that in Europe.
You can't do what?
Wave a flag. They're banning it. You cannot wave.
Can't wave a flag?
You cannot wave your country's flag in Europe.
You can't wave your country's flag in Europe?
It is being banned.
I was just at the Olympics, and that's in Italy and Europe. Everyone was waving their own country's flags, including the Italian flag.
Well, you can't put it up on your house. Not anymore. They're banning it. I think it's still in process, but
in all of Europe.
I'm not saying all of Europe. I think actually maybe it's just the UK.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are they're banning the flag of Great Britain, or they're banning all flags?
No, not all flags. Not all flags. Just their particular country's flag. You can't show patriotism, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
In a lot of the countries over there, Europe countries, like you can here. like we're free to do here.
I haven't heard that. Where did you see that?
Yeah. I don't remember, but definitely not the left-wing media. I'll tell you that.
Hi guys, welcome back once again. I really hope you watched the full clip. And MAGA voters are the ones who voted ahead and they voted against their own interest. They really knew that the same policies they were voting, the same harsh policies they were supporting to hurt other people, it will come and affect them later. Right now, we have all seen how they are going on traveling to Europe countries and they are being kicked out, they are being chased out, and Europeans are really telling them, no, we don't want you here. Please go back to your country. We don't want you to come here and spread some form of hatred or some form of spread of racism towards our own brothers and sisters. You are the ones who really went ahead and you cheered mass deportation. You are the ones who really went ahead and you celebrated while our own brothers and sisters were being deported out of your own country, America. Right now, you are coming to our own countries. We don't want you here. Please go back to America. And MAGA voters, they never learn. Because you all know they all cheered while other people were being affected. They all were happy while they were voting to hurt other people. They didn't care about their community. They didn't care about the elderly people. They didn't care about the veterans. They didn't care about the disabled people. All they cared was just to hurt other people. And they really knew that the same harsh policies they were supporting, it will come and backfire on them. We all know why. We all knew, or we all see how they really went ahead. And they supported ICE agents arresting and detaining people. They came out and said that the immigrants were the ones who were taking their jobs. And this is why they really went ahead and they voted for deportation of all undocumented immigrants. And right now, we've all seen how MAGA farmers, they are losing their farms simply because they also went ahead and they voted against their own interests. They said immigrants, they were taking their jobs. Which jobs? I haven't seen any Americans who was willing to go and pick crops or do that cheap labor, because immigrants were the ones who were doing those cheap labor, picking crops in the farm for almost 1 hour, and they were being paid $5. Right now, we have all seen how labor crisis has really affected MAGA farmers in America to an extent whereby they are going bankrupt, losing their farms. But people are really telling them that you are the ones who really voted for this. You are the ones who really voted ahead and voted against your own interest. You are the ones who really voted ahead and voted out of hatred and out of racism. Right now, you are just getting what you voted for. If these people could have voted the right way, we've all seen how Kamala Harris, she really came out and won these people. Everything she prophesied, it came to pass. We have all seen how she really warned Americans of how Trump will make America, or will make America where it is if they voted for him. All the things he prophesied, it has really come to pass, but MAGA voters never learn. Right now, we have all seen how they are going to other countries, how they are going to Europe countries, but Europeans are really telling them, no, we don't want you here. We don't want you to come to our countries and make it, maybe you turn our country into a mess. And we've all seen how a lot of people have really come out and commented on this. How do they like being told go back to our country? How do MAGA voters like being told go back to our country? Another person really came out and said that the hatred for Americans and American politicians is worldwide and will last for generations. We've all seen how American is being hated worldwide, and it's because of the MAGA voters. We've all seen how American, it has bad reputation across all over. It is not only European countries are hating America. America is being hated globally. And it's because of how MAGA voters, they really went ahead and they put wrong man in an office. They really went ahead and voted for Trump again. Despite all those gate causes, despite all those dramas, they really learned, they never listened. They still went ahead and they voted for Trump again. And a lot of people really came out and said that if they can be given another chance, they can still vote for Trump for the fourth time. We've all seen how Trump has really make America not to be great again. We know whenever he was campaigning, he promised the MAGA voters that he will make their life better. He will make America great once again. He will lower gas prices. He will lower grocery prices. He won't involve America into any form of war. He will make America a country of peace. But right now, we've all seen how we really did to them. We've all seen how the cost of living has really risen in America to an extent whereby Americans, they can't even afford basic needs. They don't have money. But the same people who went ahead and they voted against their own interests. And people are really telling them that you are just getting what you voted for. Another person came out and said that what goes around comes around. What does he mean? It means that MAGA voters are the ones who cheered or celebrated mass deportation. But right now, whenever they are going to European countries or visiting other countries, they are also being deported. They're also being chased away. And this is why this person really came out and said that what goes around comes around. And I've also seen how a lot of people are really coming out and commenting. And they're saying that do unto others as they do to you. It's easy for someone to be racist when they have never experienced racism. It's easy for someone to be racist when they have never experienced racism. And this is the reason why MAGA voters are going through a lot. And a lot of people really coming out and telling Europe that, well done, Europe, you are doing a great job. Let these people go back to their own countries. Let them go back to their own countries. And another person really came out and said that Canadians hates Republicans. They actually get it. Go Canadians. MAGA voters that are being hated worldwide. It's not only in Europe alone. They are being hated worldwide simply because they cheered while other people they were being hurt. They celebrated harsh policies that were meant to hurt other people, not putting in mind that it will come and backfire on them. And right now they're learning the hard way. Right now they're just getting what they voted for. And they're learning that hatred and racism is so much expensive. They didn't want to be ruled by a strong black woman in office simply because maybe Kamala Harris was black or maybe Kamala Harris was a woman. This is the reason why they didn't want to be led by a strong black woman in office. So guys, let me just know what you think in the comment section. Are MAGA voters getting what they voted for? Are they just learning the hard way? Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please subscribe if you haven't. Like, share. Let me see you in the next clip. Be blessed whenever you are.